Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. We are live with our global grandmothers. My name is Sandra Laub, and I am honored to be your host for today's program. I have with me a tag team of wonderful women in the Facebook Live event. This is our first. We are trying a grand experiment, so thank you for everyone's support here and patience. Global Grandmothers Council Network was launched in 2019 by three grandmothers. Grandmother Suzanne Lewis, who cannot be present live with us today, but is with us in heart and spirit. Grandmother Sharon Reggie Maynard, who is with us on the call today. And Brooke Medicine Eagle. We have unbelievably grown in a short few months to 55,000 voices of women, 55,000 voices of wisdom in this group. This collection of voices today are responding to grandmother's calling and invite you to come home as well as we gather our wisdom and weave together the fabric of a new world for all future generations. We have a phenomenal roster of wise women from our Facebook group, women from all over the world who have gifts for all of us, their teachings, their creations, their artistry, their talents, their stories, and remarkable achievements. Our purpose today is to raise our consciousness within ourselves, with each other, and with our ancestors, who we welcome on this call and invite into our circle here and now. Welcome all to begin the journey of fulfilling the mission of this organization. And I'm going to invite Mayana, our magical mistress of ceremonies behind the stage here with the mission statement. Could we have that up on the screen so that our participants can read it? And I will read it out loud as well.
We are not live. Having difficulties in the background. I'm sorry.
Okay. If I need to start again, I'll start again. We were recording, so I thought I should go.
Yes, yes. And it went and then it didn't go. So let's just keep recording.
Okay. I'll read the words of our mission statement. Our mission statement is this: our mission is to deeply listen to women's voices in the space of curiosity, to learn from each other's experience. Thereby, we will weave values and multiple expressions of the greatest wisdom, which is that we are all one, made of love, creating caring, social, economic, political, educational, environmental, cultural, and spiritual domains out of love for the health and well-being of all. We hold a vision for our world where respect for the sacredness of all life is honored. We are launching a platform, harnessing technology. We are expanding out into the virtual universe to develop this interactive platform, which will feature a lot more of what you'll see today on this program. And for that, we need your support. So yes, this is a fundraiser. And the links for how to donate, how to bid on our array of donated silent auction items created and curated by our grandmothers, they're all exquisite, plus how to join our Global Grandmothers online platform will be on the screen shortly. How are we doing, Mayana?
I'm trying to get this set up in the background on Zoom because it changed everything on me. So I'm still behind.
No worries. It's the pixies of Facebook, I think. We are on two technological platforms here, and we're having trouble getting them to talk together to each other, but we're recording this right now. So I'm going to continue for those of us on the Zoom call. And hopefully we can, because we call this for noon, we call this for a live event at noon. And we'll keep going. We have an amazing amount of content, about an hour and a half of content, actually. So we'll just keep going. I have yet to light my candle to invite all of us to take our deep breaths, just to be here and now. So as we wait for people to join us from all over the world, I want to introduce some key members of our team. First and foremost is Mayana Kingery, one of the founders of this initiative. She's in the background working her magic, trying to calm down the techno fairies who are causing some mischief back in the background. So thank you, Mayana. She's worked so hard behind the scenes from the start to get Global Grandmothers Council Network off the ground and soaring. Many, many thanks, Mayana. I am going to invite those of you ladies in our Zoom call, and I see you here as Mayana is working in the background. Can you say your names and where you are in the world? You can just pipe up, I think, unmute.
I'll begin. I'm grandmother Sharon Raji Maynard. I'm on Whidbey Island, the state of Washington, halfway between Canada and Seattle. And I'd like to pass it to Gail.
Hi, my name is Gail Crossmass, and I live on the edge of the Algonquin Wilderness in northern Ontario, surrounded by thousands and thousands of square miles of wilderness. And I say, welcome.
Oh, how wonderful.
My name is Joan Enoch. I live on the land of the Jamestown Clallam tribe on the Olympic Peninsula of Washington in Sequim, Washington.
I'm Sandra Farrell, and I am in Richardson, Texas.
I'm Victoria Savage, and I am on the land of the Blackfoot Indians, and I live in Emmett, Idaho, which is about 30 miles northwest of Boise.
I'm Susan Lowry, and I live in Duanesburg, New York, which is about 30 minutes west of Albany.
I'm Jen Rivera. I'm from the Bitterroot Valley in Montana.
I'm Mayana Kingery, and we are live, even though it told me we're not.
Great.
I'm Debbie Loshbaugh, and I'm in Roswell, Georgia, Atlanta.
I'm Regina Sen, and I am from Eugene, Oregon, home of the Mohawk and Kalapuya Native Americans.
My name is Glenn Henriksen, and I live in Copenhagen in Denmark.
Who have we left out? Ginger, have you spoken yet?
No, I'm Ginger Moore Minder from Lexington, Kentucky.
Beautiful.
Hi.
Anyone else want to say hi and where they're from?
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm from Minnesota, by Wabasha.
Excellent. Excellent. We have
Hi, I'm Wendy. I'm from Texas.
beautiful. When I hear a pause, it will mean that everyone has introduced themselves, said their name, where they're from, and I will invite us all to take our breaths, making our circle safe and secure and empowered by our intention. So Mayana, if it's possible for you to put on the screen our grandmother's calling come home intention. Oh. And I am lighting my candle here in New Haven, Connecticut. And I invite us all to take 3 deep, complete breaths. Close your eyes if you wish. And I'll speak the intention. You can speak it out loud or you can say it silently. May I join my intention with others on this call for the greater good of all. Aho, amen, may it be so. I will leave this candle lighted until the end of our call today. Thank you. So once again, welcome. You know, in a few short months, we've grown to 55,000 members on Facebook, making personal connections with each other in safe and brave spaces, like in our daily Zoom circles. We are now expanding our reach toward each other, and we want each grandmother to find and claim their place in our global network, whatever her gift or need, as part of a global movement for awakening, healing, and transformation. We want to show you the launching pad for this platform because that's where your donations are going to, the creation of this safe space. We won't have to go through Facebook for programs like this. Mayana, is it possible for you to show the launch for the platform? And you'll find the link to this GGCN platform in the comments. We have our support volunteers linking, I believe, in the live Facebook comments, where you will be able to see what we're doing with this platform. We're abstaining from calling this a membership because we feel that labeling is a remnant from the old world of exclusivity rather than inclusivity. You can join our platform for free or as a flower or as a fruit or a nut. Love that. Or as a legacy member. And those categories are fully explained on this one page. Mayana, are we seeing this? I can't see it on my Zoom.
Yes, we are. I believe we are.
Thank you. You are supporting and sustaining this belonging, this inclusivity, and you are eligible for benefits at every level. And you can see the 3 different categories here. We're going to grow those categories. Yes, we are here to call the grandmothers into a virtual hearth fire to claim what we own, the power of our voices, our experiences out in the world, and in our families, our chosen families, as well as our bio families. We are celebrating the power of our nurturing natures, the power of our minds to connect, network, teach, outreach, and find real, practical, concrete solutions for the greater good of all. And we are asking you today to use the power of your pocketbooks. Yes, this is a fundraiser. Some of us will be giving money, while others among us will volunteer our time and energy and expertise to fulfill our goal, which is to create the conditions for nothing short of an awakening quickened by love, healing, and justice, aimed at all forms of life on our Mother Earth. If not now, when? And if not by us, then who? This is an urgent call. This is a brave space. The world desperately needs what we wise grandmothers can offer it now. And you know, you don't have to literally be a grandmother to be a wise woman. You all know that, all you aunties and soul sisters of a certain age out there. Our platform will allow us to find each other. We're searchable by location. And as you could hear, we are from all over the world. We are going to take united action together to find our own communities, learn from each other, and grow together. You find your niche on that platform page. Mayana, did we show the spheres yet?
Just a moment, I will get this.
Yep. Mayana is like a mother octopus. She's got tendrils and arms everywhere. And we'll have a moment until she says, "Yep, these
Yep,
are
they are
terrific." And you can see the core values in the center there. You can see that there will be a number of grand councils for which we ask that women step forward and chair those councils. For example, people have spoken about outreach, which means that you are helping us connect with other organizations doing the same kinds of work that we are doing. It's been amazing to see and hear of the synchronicity between grandmother circles all around the world, helping to support, raise, heal populations that we are seeing need that raising and healing in our communities and our own communities across the globe. All right. We're almost ready for our first guest. Gail, that's you. I will announce that Global Grandmothers Council Network is a program of peace productions. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Our donations are tax deductible. Any auction purchase over the retail value of the item is tax deductible as well. And later we will see that amazing Give Butter auction warehouse where over 50 items donated by our grandmothers are available for purchase. So now I'm taking a deep breath because I'm excited to meet you in person. Gail Korsnos, who introduced herself at the beginning, you once said that you once posted that talent, creativity, and common sense come so naturally to you, to Gail, that you didn't realize it was unusual for most people to access inner perceptions, or that your innate skills and talents were unique. Gail Korsnos has had extraordinary experiences training for the role she plays. So today, Gail, I hand it over to you. You're the star of this segment. I'm going to switch over to Zoom so I can watch you. Gail, take it away.
All right. I'll start my timer so that I stay within my time limit.
Awesome. Thank you. Everybody
Hi.
else, Zoom, please.
Yes, I'm here in Canada, Northern Ontario, and my DNA stretches around the globe. My father's side of the family is Mongolian, Siberian, Cossack, Ukrainian, and my mother's side is Irish, Scottish, Viking, and Ojibwe. So I cross all of the borders around here, and my DNA kind of, yeah, it's scattered. But the ancestral cellular memory that I identify with the most and the most often is my father's Mongolian DNA of Eastern Europe. And so I was drawn to take my shamanic training with Anganuk, Greenland Inuit shaman, because the Inuit of Greenland are also, their ancient ancestors are also Mongolian. So I was connected to that segment of my DNA to awaken and remember who I was. And so I received my initiation ceremony at the Arctic Circle in Greenland and was given the name Ashluk, which translates to black bear, honoring my Ojibwe family. So I would like to start this off with a song that I was taught by my Inuit family on the kilot. And they call this the instrument of the big sky. And I use this to call in the ancestors, as we had done in the introduction here. And I call them in with my voice. So I'll take a few moments to call in not just my ancestors, but your ancestors and all those who are watching or will watch. Hey, oh, oh, hey, hey, ah, oh, hey, hey, ah, hey, ah, ah, he a he a e ho na me ho to he ho no e a ne ko ma he to ko ne he a o ne he na he a o ne he ne ha he Oh. My journey on this earth has been vast. And the reason that I was so awake from the very beginning was because I died at birth. So I was born awake. And my family didn't shut me down and say, no, this doesn't exist, this is not true. They had their own issues. So I had the freedom to connect with the trees and Mother Nature and spirit and the plants and the animals. And I was this child of nature growing up in the country and just connecting to everything around me and listening and following the guidance. But I also, on the other hand, that's the happy side. And on the other side, I experienced traumatic abuse, extremely dysfunctional family. And it took me 60 years to heal that and to come to an awareness of why, because I didn't understand why until I realized I needed to go back before I came to this earth and go back and meet with my soul family, my soul cluster, and say, all right, I need to understand why I chose this path. I need to review my contract. And so I met with my soul cluster. And I said, all right, these are the lessons that I want to experience and learn in this life walk. Who in my soul family loves me enough to be my teacher, to be my abuser, and then risk their own karma and risk that I will never remember that I asked them to be my teacher and that I will hate them for all eternity. That is a risk that we both take. And then they take on the karma of having to heal the part they played as the abuser. Now, this particular scenario is not welcomed by a lot of people when I bring that up because they don't trust the fact that they chose to experience what they're experiencing in this life walk, the bad and the good. And they don't want to know that they're the ones who decided and accepted this dharma, this duty that they chose to when they came to Earth. So I traveled to countries around the world. I've been to Peru, different states of the United States, across Canada and the Canadian Arctic. I've been to Greenland and Iceland many times and all around Europe. And what I do is I carry hope. And ironically, the town that I was born in was called Port Hope. So I knew that it was not an accident. I born there, I died there, I awakened there, and I went out into the world to bring hope and to help others awaken to their own truth and their own power. And one of that power is activating and accepting and understanding the dragon energy of your own personal power. And we had a meeting there yesterday calling in people who want to share their own personal experiences and then have a discussion. We had a roundtable discussion. So every time someone put out their own personal experience or insight, it triggered questions all around. So then we would have a discussion and then we would build all of those insights and all of those questions and get a bigger and bigger picture. And that's what we're doing here in this global family. We're getting together and we're having discussions, we're sharing our insights and our input, and from that we get more questions and we get more answers, then we get more questions and more answers. But we build and we build until we have a clearer picture of who we are, what we've accepted as our duty while we're walking this path, and how we can do it in a beautiful, gentle way without judgment, without fear, and without carrying the weight of other people's opinions. And that is the hardest part. And I mentioned on the post that I put this morning, when someone asked me yesterday, well, why aren't more people tuning into this? And I said, fear. Just fear. Because we have been indoctrinated from an early age, generation after generation after generation, to be fearful. Do this, or you're going to go there, or not go there, and or you're going to be punished, or you're going to condemned. And if we do accept it, we get excommunicated by our spiritual community, our family, our friends, our community at large, because they're fearful or they don't believe, and then they push us away, and then we become shunned in our community. And that in itself is very painful to our hearts. We've lived this, we've experienced this, we have so much wisdom that we want to share with people around the world, and they don't want to hear it because they're afraid, because they have to step into it themselves. That's the fear. What do I have to do? And I don't know if I can do this, but we're here to support you, to help you on every stage of the way, to embrace you, to talk you through it, sing you through it. When I was initiated in Greenland by a Ngangak, he said to me, out of 52 years of teaching around the world, he said I was the only one that he actually initiated as a shaman, because of all that I have done, the shape-shifting, the walking, even though I'm crippled. I'm supposed to be in a wheelchair 30 years ago, but I'm going, no, I don't want that, so I just keep walking. And I've climbed the mountains of Greenland and the lava flows of Iceland and the temples of Peru and the canopy of the Amazon basin, and I'm not supposed to be able to do that. But I said, well, you can't stop me, because I have no fear. I'll just keep going. And so I'm trying to help others to overcome their fears and step into their power so that they can live a full and abundant life. And that's what I do. I have seminars around the world. I have online presentations and workshops, and I make ceremonial drums and rattles and art. Busy, busy, busy. So I'm just checking my time, and I got 1 minute left. So I will close this with a really quick horse medicine drum song. And one of my first spirit names given to me by a Nijibwe medicine woman was Thunder Horse Woman. And because the first drum song I was told I had to learn and to heal was my Celtic ancestors, which I didn't want to do because I didn't think they deserved it, but that was my task. So I had to learn this drum song and heal the ancestors from all lines and walks that live in my DNA. So enjoy my horse medicine. I will keep it to 1 minute. Ride. And many of my ancestors were horse people, because my name Krosmaz is actually an Anglified reproduction of my Ukrainian Cossack name, which is Chernimus, which translates to blacksmith, which were horse people. And my Mongolian ancestors were also horse people. So me drumming like a horse just comes very natural.
Amazing.
Thank you for inviting me here today, and I hope to see you all again very soon.
What a Sha woman you are. Thank you, Gail. We want to support you by joining with you in your many journeys. Let's do that through the wheel spoke of global grandmothers. I had chills throughout your drumming. So, and I'm sure all of us did. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayana, would you like, or commenters in the back, can we now switch to the next interview? And I'd like to be able to see that we have confirmation that how to donate to Global Grandmothers Platform is on the share. That would be awesome. And our next interview is a special video by a special grandmother whose name is Catherine McIntosh. She's from the UK. She has an incredibly inspiring story to share with us. The entire interview will be available later online. It's well worth listening to the whole thing, but for the sake of time, I wanted to share about 14 minutes pieced together. Mayana has the timestamps from this video from Catherine McIntosh in the UK. Mayana, are you able to share that video with us now? Can we get the sound on it? What we're seeing.
Sandra, I cannot look at the timestamps and the video at the same time.
Okay.
So if you can you guide me as to where to stop?
Yes, please
I'll
start it at 53. Yep, I will. I'm going to go back to my
started
script.
Point
You can
53.
start it at 53 seconds and we'll go 53 to 150. Is there sound? What we're seeing is a photograph of the hospital in Nepal that Catherine built, having sold her home in Scotland. Were you able to get the sound on that?
I didn't realize this. You weren't hearing sound. Okay. It doesn't give me an option today for sound, which was there yesterday.
Was there yesterday. Maybe I am a
Was.
co-host. Maybe I can share from my script. Catherine, once again, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Can you let me share my screen?
Yes. Okay, here.
All right.
Hello and welcome.
So I'm going to move through this. Can everybody hear this now?
The story of how she was inspired to create, how she built, and how it still runs this amazing place, this hospital. So Catherine, take it away. You're the star.
Right. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm quite honored to share my story. I've kept it quiet for quite some time, but I think that I needed the right audience. This project started, I think, a long time ago. When I was a little girl, I was raised in a Christian home where we used to have missionaries come to visit, and I thought their job was really amazing, that they would go to different countries and help other people. And I was taken by the story of they call it here in the UK, they call it the widow's mite, but in the United States they call it an alabaster offering. Every Easter, you collect your pennies and that, and you give a donation to the church. And you give what you have. But the story goes that the widow's mite, she gave pennies and she was criticized for giving out of not, an abundance, but what she had to live on, what she needed. And the story goes on that the rich man that was criticizing her was then turned around and told that her gift was the greatest because it came from her heart. And it came from out of her need rather than her extra money that she could live without. And for me, that story kind of stuck in my mind as a good thing to do as an innocent child. And for years, as I spent all my time raising my family, raising my children, and that kind of story, it took a back seat. But when my children were grown and gone, I thought this was my opportunity to do what I dreamed to do. And that was to build something significant that I could leave behind to say, I did all I could.
So I'm going to move it a little bit.
Which is impassable. And then another 2-hour walk up the mountainside. So I made that trip when I was 50, and I couldn't imagine someone who was in labor, having a child who was wounded with a broken arm or a broken leg, or the elderly having to try and make that journey to the nearest hospital. I went home and I prayed about it for a long time. I mean, it took me 6 months to really do.
We lost the sound, Sandra.
But no one really wanted to support me. I did get a few small donations, but it wasn't enough. The only thing I had was my home. And I knew that to take such a risk was a big one, but I needed to do it for some reason.
And I'm going to just move it again a little bit.
Financial problems, and how do we pay everyone? How do we get supplies? And so we had to continue to try and convince local people to get involved. The Nepalese government wasn't interested at all. So we sourced funding from someone in Korea to help the process. But it was really the love that was to come across, the real feeling of, this is why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it to become famous. I'm not doing it to become renowned or anything like that. I'm doing it because it needs to be done. Of being helpful, come up and say, ask me if they could sit next to me. And dressed as a nun, I didn't look dangerous to anybody. And I would say, yes, Chris, sit down. And it would be somebody that just by circumstances or whatever it was, they had something I needed. They would be somebody that would know a pharmacist or would know other organizations that were working in the area. And I made connections that way. And it was quite amazing because that happened over and over again, not just once or twice. I lost track of how many. A huge, huge water tank, because
this is a good story within the story.
On this, in this picture that you see now, this temple, underneath the temple, under the foundation, is a water tank, a huge, huge water tank, because the village would run out of water during the dry seasons. They wouldn't have anything to drink. They wouldn't have water to bathe in. They really were struggling. And so it was our Korean sponsor that helped us build this part of it. And so with his assistance, they now have a place of worship where they can have community meetings, they can have prayers, they can, and I think it's quite amazing that when they do their meditation and prayers, they're actually sitting on top of the water that they drink and blessing that at the same time, which is quite amazing. Has is and see how far down they have to walk to get to a main road. The next picture that Sandra has is on opening day. We thought we'd get a few hundred people that would come, maybe 1,000. We ended up subscribing currently. It's up to, I think it's now 50,000 people, but on that opening day, we had over 3,000 people come and register at the hospital from various villages. And they all walked, most of them, to get there. So to me, it was just this amazing thing. And I'd had a dream before I did this project because it was quite frightening and quite challenging. I didn't know what I was going to do, not speaking the language or anything. And I had a dream that there was all these people and they were all holding their hands up to me saying, help us, help us, help us. And I was overwhelmed in the dream thinking, what can I do? I'm just one person. And the answer that came to me was the Dalai Lama was with me in the dream on the hill. And he turned around to me and he smiled and he just said, you help them one at a time. That's how you do it. And it's like, right, okay, I can piece at a time mentality. So for all these people, they have a place to go for minor treatments, for medicines, And so it's been 10 years, longer than that actually now, that she's got dreams of going to university, going to school, going to big school, she used to call it when she was little. She wanted to be like her sister. And so the chances of these children in this village dying were very, very high. A lot of the children were dying as infants from infections from the umbilical cord, just not having clean tools to cut the umbilical cord or a bandage or ointment to cover it. That little tiny package is now given to every single mother that gives birth.
I think I'm going to stop it.
Now those children are living healthier lives, happier lives. We were able to give them books. We were able to give them food, clothing. When the earthquake hit in April.
I'm going to stop the video now. This is, as you can see, a gift of the heart, a gift of her entire life. Catherine McIntosh is an extraordinary grandmother, and she is one of ours, connected to us from her home in the UK. Our purpose here today is to give you a roster of amazing gifts. I'm going to stop the share here now. Mayana, if you don't mind, can we do that? Can we put on the screen once again the QR codes to donate? This is like a telethon, folks, right? We're showing you the talents that we have, the gifts that we have to offer, and we're asking you to give us just a little support, however much you can afford to give, so that we can launch our website to link grandmothers like Catherine McIntosh, like Gail Korsmos, to you. and we have others coming. So I wanted to get on with our interview schedule, and I'm going to do that, right? So I'm going to stop the share now. Mayan, are we ready?
Well, I need you to stop share first before
Will
I
do.
can do anything.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So she's going to.
I'm just going to quick put up the auction image.
Perfect. And I'm going to, on deck, we have an interview with Regina Sen from Eugene, Oregon, who is a uniquely gifted artist. We'll pause for a moment so that grandmothers can see the QR codes to donate.
And just if you don't know this image with all the little lines and squares, if you have a cell phone and you put your cell phone camera up to the screen, that image will automatically pop up with the web address, and you can just click on it and it takes you to the web. And this is a new technology for us grandmothers. So but you can go to Give Butter and find the Grandmother's Calling auction, or you can scan with your phone. And there's several QR codes that are going to come up throughout the event today, and that's how those work.
Terrific. Thank you, Mayana.
Okay.
Mayana, is there any way to raise it a little bit? When I put my camera on it, the bottom of it is not showing.
Does that work? Did that work? How about that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
How are we doing on the Facebook Live comments? Are we able to put our links in there for donation?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
happening. Terrific. So I'm
Yes.
going to move forward with our next interview. Regina, are you there?
Hello.
I think she's coming on. Hello. Hello from all the way across the country. I'm going to go into the script that we've been working and reworking. Regina works with AI in a very positive way. And we had coordinated a dialogue to share between the two of us. So I'm going to ask, while we have our dialogue, if Mayana, with her magic, can go from the last graphic we saw to the next graphic, which is a picture of Regina's art. And just let me know when that is being shown. This is Regina Sen's inspiring story. Regina Sen is a poet and a creative artist whose offering on today's auction is a poem puzzle artwork, I want to say. It's never been seen before. It's a unique artifact. It is a practical way for grandmothers to interact with their young ones via art, puzzles, and conversation. So I just want to welcome you, Regina, and say how grateful we are for your contributions to our auction. And Regina, if you want to take it away.
First, I just want to tell you how grateful I am to have heard the story of Catherine. Our journeys are so similar in many ways, and one is the widow's mite. When she said that she gave from her all and not just the extra that you may not need. Since the beginning of the pandemic, I, like Catherine, have given from all I have. Having previously suffered from Lyme, I had struggled to be able to get my health back, to be able to function reliably in the world. I began seeing life-threatening gaps of care here in our country between our nation's safety nets in the most unusual of ways. And these gaps are not just between one safety net, but literally all of them wrapped into one individuals that I had no idea suffered without the help I received. These gaps include medical, governmental, nonprofit, educational, and communities, church, and family. And I became aware of these gaps just in helping one. Like the Dalai Lama said to Catherine. In desperation, I took on a pen name because this woman's life was held in the balance. And no matter how much I tried, like Catherine, I only was able to reach a few with the story. So I took on the pen name of Regina Sen, opened a Facebook account in hopes of finding a rescue for her. And in the process, amazingly, I found a rescue for myself. Like Catherine, people have surfaced here and there on my journey, helping me in unexpected and meaningful ways. A stranger a doctor from Poland reached out to me on Facebook after seeing my art and asked, by the way, how's your health? And when hearing, she offered to restore it, not for profit, but to support the love she felt emanating from my art and my heart. This angel of a doctor, her protocol literally changed my life. It didn't exist here in the United States. And one prong of this healing was to create from love every day. Creating from love that's not romantic, but the kind of love that bubbles up and resonates from within, universal love. What's really powerful about what this doctor did for me was that she helped me transition out of a place of grief, deep grief, into a creative core filled with a heart song, my heart song, bursting through a newfound health and vitality that for me expresses itself through art in a unique way. Now I take that heart song, which comes to me in poetry, and I brush it into life, working intuitively and through AI.
That's amazing. And we can hear it coming through your voice. Regina, you brought one of these pieces with you. We have the image. Can you share how this came to life? And Mayana, once again, will depend on you to show us on screen as well.
Well, there was this amazing group of grandmothers that I just happened upon in my time on Facebook, which was just once a day posting a poem. And they mirrored in their offering, in their mission, the greatest wish of my heart. Ever since 2014, I have wished that I could be an instrument in some way in the bringing down of man-made walls of religion and other walls now that I didn't even know existed before helping one. These walls that separate us, keeping us from seeing each other as we really are. When I heard about the Global Grandmothers Council Network and its mission, the words to a new heart song literally burst into life. And I just started typing and posted it there. And I want to share with you the beginning of this poem. It's called A Tapestry of Wisdom, and it's brushed into life right here for you to see as I read it. Wisdom weavers, gatherers, gleaning from each other, truths learned across a lifetime, connecting at a time when walls, they come down in the spirit of universal love.
Beautiful. Regina, can you tell us more about how a grandmother might play with this puzzle with her loved one, her young one?
Absolutely. This is my favorite part, of course.
Okay.
It came to me from a dear friend. She thought, this is what you should do with your art. And we put it into practice. As grandmothers come together with their grandchildren, they love to puzzle often. And each piece in this journey, this adventure that begins with a story. It comes with a poem, a lesson, and moments of joy that you can just spring naturally in your conversations. Unlike traditional puzzles, it's brought to life through thought-provoking questions that you can take a look at and just naturally weave into conversations to impart wisdom without them even knowing you're doing it. And it comes, of course, with snack ideas and activity ideas that literally resonate with the poem itself.
Terrific, terrific. So when a grandmother opens her box, when she purchases her puzzle, she gets, what does she get? What does she actually have to do when she opens her her gift?
Well, first, when she orders it, she'll be asked for her email address. And then it's so simple from there. She'll get the box, she'll open up, and it'll be a puzzle, just like any other puzzle. But before she gets it, she'll receive a link in her email that will connect her to her chosen artisan experience online.
Beautiful. I wonder, Mayana, can you show us the Instagram page that, let's see, that Regina has? I'm just wondering. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for that. So what we've got on the screen now is the painting, the puzzle, the QR code that will take you to Regina's Instagram site. And while grandmothers on this call are doing that, Regina, can you talk about how many pieces in this puzzle, how safe it is, what the materials are?
Absolutely. Let me get there.
Okay.
So these puzzles can come in a 500-piece puzzle or a 6-inch square puzzle. The 500-piece, of course, is great and engaging for children ages 8 and up, depending on their individual skills and interests. And you can introduce problem-solving techniques for them. It's a great way. But even more, at this age, most children have developed the fine motor skills and cognitive abilities to be able to weave in this wisdom into their experience in life. The smaller size is great for the younger ones. And some of my puzzles really are like, they can't be a 500-piece puzzle. So there's lots of opportunities to weave in different age groups.
Right. Right. For the youngsters.
Yeah.
Let's see where we are now. You're also telling us that with each puzzle experience purchased, a portion will help fund scholarships for less advantaged grandmothers to rise with us at any level they wish to join. A portion of the purchase also will help younger people who are facing life-altering injuries or health conditions, college students, recent grads, some of us are grandmothers of those, may also benefit. As we wrap up, Regina, let's see, I'm looking on my script. Can you once again share just a little bit of how your inspiring journey and your vision really resonates with the Global Grandmothers Council and our message as well? Oh, and we forgot to mention, this is an heirloom quality puzzle tin. I think you're looking at it right now. Yep, there we go, the Wisdom Weavers puzzle. Why don't we do this then? Because I can actually see the Zoom, what people are seeing. Can you walk us through what grandmothers can do?
Absolutely. When you receive a link, you're going to see immediately this picture. And then you're going to see the poem after a brief description of the adventure that you can create. And it's really simple because you'll see the poem. In this case, the poem, can I read it?
Sure.
The rest of it, because it's so powerful. No walls, continuation, and no walls, no blinders. Already tuned in, these grandmothers connecting. This is the vision we're creating in universal love, one with another for a better world. Breaking free of winter, bringing down walls, springing forth, collective, uniting in wisdom for the cause of love. Sparkling, reflecting, brilliance in living, bringing joy, blanketing the earth like Indra's web. As you do it, you will feel this call, and perhaps your children too. They'll feel the rising that you feel to add your light, your gem, your pearl, reflecting on a web that can connect us all. We are in the process of doing something that we've needed ever since, at least since I started having children myself, and wished so much to be able to access wisdom I didn't actually have as a latchkey child, not having my mother with me, with 5 siblings during the day. And so this brings me such great joy because we are in the process right now of reconnecting generations of wisdom to our mothers, our young mothers who maybe didn't get it, and enhancing, enriching the rest of us in our journey. Because when we walk alongside each other with our walls down, one of the things I've found is that there is such beautiful wisdom I never would have been able to benefit from had I not let those walls come down. And that's what we're about. We're about bringing together greater richness in life, which brings the power of the energy of love into the equation. And it's missing in this world that's filled with division, filled with the destructive impact of being disconnected from our hearts. And that's what that's what we're bringing back.
Beautiful. You're so inspiring. Can you leave us with a fun participatory thing that we all can do by going to your Instagram account, Regina? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll
So I don't know if anybody's had a chance to take a picture of that QR code that Mayana had popped up, but if she could bring that up again, you can quickly access my Instagram. And from there, you will be able to see a lineup.
And we can also post it in the comments, right? If we could do that in the Facebook Live comments too.
I don't have the ability to do that.
You don't have to do that?
No,
that's for our
okay.
our support team in the back to do, if they can, to put Regina's Instagram. It's on my script. Everybody has that that script, I think.
This will be great because they'll get to see it in action.
Talk us through it.
So what you're going to see when you come to my Instagram site, there are images that I've created from poems, just like this one. And yet you're only seeing the images. What I invite you to do is to take a look at each one and see if there's any that just truly resonate in your heart, you feel drawn to. Screenshot those images. And then if you look up at the profile section of my Instagram, you'll see that there's an email link. Just click on it, copy and paste those images and send them to me, and I'll respond. In fact, what I'll do is I'll send you the poem that created and brushed that image into life. And then you'll have an opportunity to see if that resonates with you too, and what kind of an experience that brings up for you. And if it happens, I would love for you to send me like what you experienced when you saw the fusion of this poem into art, and how the collective experience impacted you. If that happens, please send me an email, because that's going to direct me in bringing forth our next puzzling experience together. And one of our visions in the future, and Sandra, you can probably speak to this better than me, but one of our visions in the future is to have another gathering where we are able to like collectively share like the answers to questions in our puzzling experience for the tapestry of wisdom.
Absolutely.
And before that, gathering together to bring the price down. Because for me, when I produced this puzzle for the auction today, my cost is $50. And so it's really hard. But we as collectively can order in a bulk rate that brings it down to less than half that fairly quickly.
Thank you for reminding us. I see we all have our phones up. We've got QR codes in the chat. One of them just goes to your document in that you sent me about the puzzles.
That's going to come to you.
It didn't have the Instagram on it, so I put it in the Zoom chat. If our support team can put that Instagram link in our Facebook Live, that would be great. And I'm not sure if this QR code that I'm seeing now in our chat has your Instagram. I trust it does. Regina, thank you so much. You're brilliant. You're beautiful. Your message is exquisite, and so is your artwork. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. We are going to move on, folks. Go grab a cup of chai, cup of coffee. This is like a telethon. We have a ton of guests still to come. Our interview number 4 is with Joan Enoch. Joan, are you here in the Zoom?
I'm here.
Excellent. Hi, Joan. I've not met you personally, so hello and welcome to us. I'm going to turn it right over to you and keep the content flowing. We're going to leave it to our support team in the back to keep on posting the donation links, how to get to the auction, and our participants can see that in the comments section. So for now, I will hand it right over to you, Dr. Joan.
Well, thank you very much. Everybody else is really hard acts to follow with youth and energy and passion. And I'm old. I'm 84. I think a lot of the passion is back there somewhere. Sometimes I can't even find it. I've come up in a really traditional way in this society. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I'm come from a Jewish background from both Germany and Poland. I became a doctor and a psychiatrist and a psychoanalyst. And I worked a lot with women, not exclusively, but I worked with women and women in transition. That was a lot of the work I did, particularly with women. And I'm retired now, kind of long retired. I've written poetry, and some of my poetry has gotten acknowledged, which is very pleasing. I actually have been working hard to lower that little sprite called ego and monkey mind. I followed a Buddhist pathway through life, not as a religion, but as more of philosophy and psychology. So it's a lot quieter. I'm going to read a poem because I've turned more away from people at this point and more in terms of our Earth Mother, Gaia, our Earth Mother who is suffering in so many ways for so many reasons. I've written a number of poems to trees, but this poem that I'm going to read you, and I didn't know this was an interview, so I just thought I'd read my poem. This poem is called A Crown of Sonnets, which in itself I'm impressed by because it's 7 sonnets linked together, and they're all about climate disruption. And while I have nothing personally to sell, I hope that global grandmothers and even individual grandmothers are going to do things to help our planet, to help Earth to heal from all that's happening to it, both naturally and because of the difficulties of the human species. So here's my crown of sonnets on climate disruption. As I write to you of global warming, of all that will happen in the future, consider this to be a warning, not far from now, destroying culture. So many people on roads to somewhere because of ice melt, water taint, and sea rise. Will there be a safe abode anywhere? Mudslides, heat unhealthy, carbon disguised. Sea creatures die with human deaths too, while wealthy humans increase the dooming. Wild things destroyed by fire, habitats, zoos, Mother Earth suffers. Gaia stops blooming. How can we stop this awful atrocity without resorting to a killing ferocity? Without resorting to a killing ferocity, we watch the planet knuckle under. Considering this with fervent audacity, sequester carbon or live with the blunder. We have so many current issues. I'm ready to break out the tissues. It's hard to think about the road ahead. I'm turning out the lights and going to bed. But that's truly being a coward. One has to help in any way possible. We must save this planet going forward. But many of us are so irascible. What should we say to be most useful? What can we do to not feel rueful? What can we do to not feel rueful? I think that we can practice abstinence. Certainly, we can use less carbon fuel. Car riding for fun is just incontinence. I like to go riding on a Sunday like they did in days of yore. We have to drive less in every way, but staying home is such a bore. While staying home, we can get cold, but using less heat surely is a goal. Air conditioning in summer feels like gold. Using it will send us in a hole. Don't use up the carbon, save our Gaia. Sequester it so there'll be less fire. Sequester it so there'll be less fire. More lightning causes fire too. Feels like we're on a funeral pyre. Communities burn in our full view. I feel broken from all the pain fires cause, destroying animal life. They run in terror. We look on in vain. This world is filled with so much strife. While in the water, shellfish die from temperatures that exceed belief, warming trends in seas will make us sigh. There really seems to be no relief. Fire and water destroying earth and air. Our precarious plight is so unfair. Our precarious flight is so unfair. Migrants swarm and move on en masse, driven from homes and no one cares. From heat, no water, please let them pass, to cooler climes and watery landscapes, to safer earth regions where they can thrive, to where they can look out at seascapes, to places where humans can stay alive. It's truly that we need fewer beings spread over areas that allow for life. Fewer children might allow our seeing more survival in these times of strife. If we won't keep carbon down in the ground, life on this planet will not stay around. Life on this planet will not stay around in areas of heat and places of drought. Lowland places will definitely drown. What the hell is it that this is about? Greed. Greed and desire for more and more things is part and parcel of what has ensnared us, all of it driven by us human beings. Our oil and our gas, our desires and lusts keep us from looking at what would be just. Too much of the world will lose in this game, and to be truthful, we all share the blame. I want to see clearly this entire frame. We're ignoring this with all our will. We cannot conceive of this bitter pill. We cannot conceive of this bitter pill, and so we ignore what we do not want. We don't want to think of paying the bill. We think this exaggerates a future gaunt. With ugliness and pain, we procrastinate. But some young state they will not procreate. The human species faces its future demise as folks blame each other in chaotic reprise. Corporations, rich nations, and banks all to blame. Human minds not able to reset the frame. I wonder, my friends, as we don't own the zoo, what little is really asked of humans to do. I'm finished. Yes, my heart is now storming as I write to you of global warming. So that was my crown of sonnets. I just hope money given to global grandmothers will do something to deal with the issues of Gaia and of plant life and of animal life, not just human life, but all the species of plants and animals on this earth, because we just are in such big trouble. Thank you. Thank you.
Grandmother Joan, thank you so much. It is the issue of the day. It is the issue that's perhaps greatest of all. Thank you so much for that brilliant poem, that cri de coeur. Yes, indeed. From grassroots place, we are involved with global warming and climate change initiatives in our communities. And we thank you for your contribution.
I just would say that if there's anybody would want to own The Crown of Sonnets as a poem, just give money to Global Grandmothers and send me your address, snail mail or email, and I will send you copies of the poem. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. What a wonderful gift. Thank you. Our hearts are resonating with all of these beautiful gifts. We move on now. We are aware that we are past an hour 15, but that's okay. We're going to go through this. Take a break if you need to, but our next guest is, she's not to be missed, actually. Our next guest is Sandra Farrell. Sandra is the founder and former executive director of the Community of St. Therese of Lisieux in Memphis. The Lisieux organization was started in 2011 by Sandra, who retired last year. Her vision was inspired by Therese of Lisieux, a 19th century Catholic nun known as the Little Flower. Now, Sandra has a recording for us. It's a reading from her collection of the book that is titled One Story, Our Stories. I've got a lot of notes here, but it is
One of Us, Stories of Prostitution and Addiction.
Thank you, Sandra. That's it. It's available on Amazon, but Sandra has a recording of her reading one of these stories. We want to preface this recording that the language is strong, the issue is strong. It is about sexual abuse, it is about prostitution and addiction, and it is a harrowing story. So we'll hear it now.
Sandra, I'm going to need you to play the video.
Okay.
Because I can't do sound while I'm live streaming.
All right. So I'm going to share. See if this works. Uh-oh, I need access. This is the technical difficulty. While you give me access, I just sent a request. Sandra, can you preface this story with the question of what this initiative was, what it did on the street with these women, and anything else you want to tell us about your program to help women on the street in Memphis in the mid-2000s?
We began with a home, and we operated the home for about 4 years. We had no funds to begin. We left it all to God. And one of the things that's so difficult for me is God would open doors and then I would walk through them without the knowledge. I don't have business background or anything like that. And so we walked through the doors and then watched it happen. We started with a home because there was only one other home in Memphis that worked with these women. And after about 4 years, what we found were the women in our home were more concerned with the women still on the streets. And by that time, there were 3 other homes in Memphis. And so we went to the streets and began to meet the women. We started because I am a survivor of sexual abuse from a very early age. And I had the benefit of insurance, and I had a family that surrounded me. Most of the women on the streets did not. And so the book comes from interviews that were done with the women, and the woman who did it actually recorded them as they talked and then transcribed them. So you're not seeing words that were changed. You're seeing what they said themselves. And the main thing is that I want everybody to hear is that it could be any of us. It could be our daughter, it could be our mother. And I say that because one night we gave out condoms on the streets. And one night a woman came up to me and I gave her some and she said, "Can I get some for my mother?" And usually I think I pretty much had a blank face, but evidently I had a response there. And I asked her, "How old is your mother?" And she said 64, and she got to eat too. So that's why they are out there, is to provide for themselves. Because of trauma in an early age, they never learn to make their way in the world like most of us have. And so our goal was to give them a safe place to begin to learn. We didn't require any of them except to honor one another and to be as honest as they could with us. And they made their rules. When we set up the center, we had them come in and set up the rules because they knew themselves better than we did.
Yep. Yep. It was a beautiful program. Is it still running?
Unfortunately, because of lack of funding, it closed. I retired about 2 years ago, and it lasted another year or so after that. But our funding came probably 85 to 90% from individual donations, $10 here, $15 there, whatever. And to do that, we really had to have an active presence in the communities. I spoke everywhere I could find to speak. We were fortunate that several news stories picked us up, and we were able to do it that way. But unfortunately, the funding floundered.
I saw that article in the Memphis paper, and one of the women told you something really extraordinary, and you shared that with me. Can you share that with us while Mayana shares permission to show this very short video? And if not, then we'll talk about the books that you want to give away. Tell us what the woman told you.
And I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
Well, she said you came here to do what you needed to do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
When I told her I was retiring, she said, "But you did what you came to do." She said, "When you came to us, other people did not know about us. And now we have other organizations, other churches that are coming out to us and giving us food and clothing." And so for me, that made all the difference in the world. She also is the one that said to me one day, we were in the car, and she said, "Why do you do what you do?" And I said, "Because I also made an awful lot of mistakes, because I am a survivor of childhood trauma, and I didn't grow up well until I began to be about 40 or 42 years old. So I made mistakes. There were other people that helped me." And she looked me in the eye and said, "Is that why you don't judge us?"
Huh.
And I said, "How can I judge you when I've been in your shoes?" So.
Thank you.
Sandra, you have the link to the shared video in the chat and in your Facebook Messenger.
Okay, let's try it. Here we go.
Click next to the right. Maybe that'll work. No, it's just the video. Okay, that did not work.
I have it in front of me. Do you want me to do it again?
If you, well,
we're not able to get the video here, it looks like.
Okay, so I can read several excerpts from the book.
Please.
I'm sharing some stories from a book called One of Us, Stories of Prostitution and Addiction. The author is Cindy McMillian, and she was a volunteer with us at the LeSue community. And she interviewed all that wanted to be interviewed. And most of them want their stories told. And so that's why it was so important to do this. From one person, there was a lot of abuse, sexual and physical, from the time I was a child. As a teenager, I became an alcoholic and I smoked weed. I was in and out of bars and I wasn't even old enough to drink. I was always in a blackout, so I don't remember much. All my life, I've wanted someone to love me, but I confused love with sex because that's what came first. it was the sex. Love never really came. So I just assumed that when someone loves you, they're going to hurt you. Men have been touching me since I was a baby. And so I thought maybe I exuded that it was my fault somehow. I made men want to have sex with me. You know, if I saw a little girl getting raped, I would try and kill the man. But for me, when I'm being raped, somehow it must be my fault. Did I like prostitution? No, but I knew I could use my body, my sex at a very young age. I knew what men wanted, and they were going to take it. So I might as well make money doing it. If you try to leave, you're brainwashed. You don't know how to go get help. You don't think that way because you've tried to run away before, and when they find you, it's a terrifying experience. You don't know if you're going to live through it, if it's ever going to stop. And finally, all these women were trying to get out of that lifestyle. I have no idea what the future holds, but it's very scary for me. I'm having to learn all new rules. At least with my pimp, I knew what was expected of me. I knew what to do. I knew what I'd get in trouble for and what I wouldn't. In recovery, everything is new. It's really hard work. I have to tell you, too, that on the streets, because of my age, I was safe. Even the pimps looked at me like a grandmother because of my age, and that made me safe. One of the men calls me his godmother. And so.
Beautiful. What a harrowing tale that is ongoing and is definitely within the realm of what global grandmothers can do to support these young women and older women and all women who have been suffering this trauma. Thank you, Sandra. I think it was very effective that you actually read this live and that we have the cover of your book. Once again, you are offering I'm going to stop the share now. You are offering us copies of your book for if grandmothers go on to our website, go on to this QR code to donate, you will be donating for free 10 books, 10 of these books about the women. Thank you for your work with us, Sandra.
And if I could, Sandra?
Yeah.
Yes.
That Sandra is donating 10 books to the first 10 flowers who register on our Grandmother's Garden platform. If you register as a flower, that's the $13 a month or $133 a year, reduced price until our full launch. So the first 10 people who sign up as a flower will receive her book.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We will be moving on now. We still have a few more interviews to go for this daytime segment of our Global Grandmothers fundraiser. And this is a video that has been shared by our global grandmother in Poland, Maria Anna. And it is a recording. She wrote to us that it's really pure divine guidance that she created this video. She had listened to something that grandmother Sharon had shared about the staff, that is the symbol for the staff of grandmothers globally being in the ground, but also pointed to the sky. She also has a sister organization in Poland. It was birthed out of a dream. She is actually at an event that sister organization, an NGO, is presenting now in Poland as we do ours, and it is to fund Grannies of the World. There's a foundation that she's created. They crochet blankets and knit quilts called Rainbow Hugs. And she and her partner have graciously shared some elements from that initiative, from their program onto our auction. I'm going to see if I can play. I see Mayana has stepped away from her seat. She's back now.
Okay, if you would play 22 to 55 first.
All right. And I will share my screen. Let's see if I can do that. And I'm gonna.
So go up to 22 seconds.
Okay.
That's good. And from there, if you go up to 435. Didn't quite work.
Sisters, friends, my name is Maria Anna Słomkowska, daughter of Anna, granddaughter of Stanisława, Maria, Natalia, great-granddaughter of Anna, and all my ancestors. I am recording this video for you because I cannot be in person during our Sunday event. As together with my best friend, Anna, we are holding a live event in Warsaw, first event of our Grannies of the World Foundation, Fundacja Babcie Świata, an organization that we birthed at the same time as Global Grandmother Council Network was coming to life. What a coincidence. What a beautiful synchronicity. There is no coincidences, we all know that. As I was listening to Grandmother Sharon's sharings, where she said that when sleeping women will wake, the mountains will move. She brought up this Chinese proverb. And she spoke about white women that are waking up and who need to wake up so the world can change. I woke up and I hear the calling and guidance of Grandmother Anna. She's with me and she speaks to me as she does to so many of us. Through her guidance, I've been creating from black clay. I've been painting pictures in the wood, anchoring light. And I'm honored to share some of my work with you today. Also, Grandmother Sharon said, it is time to put the stuff in the ground and sword in the sky. Because the movement that is happening now, the evolution that is happening now, is much, much bigger than we might think. I don't think we're ready to really embrace with our mind what is happening. Maybe we don't even need to. what is very important is that we embrace whatever is happening from our heart. And we are here together. We're here together to weave a very, very strong fabric of life.
Mayana, shall we go to the auction where she has her array of artworks to be bid on?
Yes, if you stop sharing, I will do that.
Very powerful, sword in the ground, staff in the ground, sword in the sky. We are now going to our Give Butter auction. It's amazing how all this technology came together in about a week, folks. All of these offerings. So bear with us, have your lunch, have your coffee while we keep going with this telethon for global grandmothers. Go ahead, Mayana, talk us through what we're seeing.
Okay, so Maria Anna also has some 90-minute online shamanic healing sessions she's offering. She has 2 of those. Acrylic on canvas, 60 by 40 painting. Now these are her ship items are coming out of Poland, but she's willing to ship worldwide. So there are shipping costs, but this is an amazing painting, and there are several close-ups of different pieces of it. And some of her clay. Here's one, cherry blossom black clay tray. You can just see the quality. And there's just so many wonderful items. Here's a symbol for ceremony, a burning bowl for your ceremonies. You know, these are ceremonial items. Here's the bloodlines. Handmade ceremonial items.
Beautiful. There are so many. It's hard to fathom all of this work, all this synchronicity coming together. I'm mindful of the time. We have 2 more interviews to go live with today. This auction link is in our Zoom chat. It's also in our Facebook Live chat. Is that right?
Yes.
So people can listen while they peruse all of the items we have to offer. I want to go now to Susan Meeker-Lowry, who has been with us also from the start as a transition team member and as someone who has contributed so much to the platform and to the foundation of Global Grandmothers. Susan, you're live. Would you like to discuss what you've also offered to be auctioned in our Give Butter auction platform?
Yes. And first, I was going to read something that I had written in one of my Substacks called Big Love, but I changed my mind a couple of days ago. A week ago today, my 22-year-old grandson, Silas, killed himself. He was the son of my oldest son, Jason, who in 2013 died of an opioid overdose when he was 36 years old. Silas has an older brother who will be 25 in November. My 2 living sons and their families went to Vermont, which is where Silas lived and where his mom and his brother live, and made arrangements for him to have a natural burial in a place called the Vermont Forest Cemetery, which meant that it had to happen quickly because there's no embalming or anything involved. The body is buried just like it used to be before we had the funerals that we have now. I was planning on being there until, and the burial was Friday, I was planning on being there until I was told by my son, who unfortunately had that task, to tell me that Megan, for some reason, she didn't want a lot of people there. And that excluded the only more people who were planning on going, which was myself and my daughter-in-law, Colleen, my middle son's wife, who was still here in New York. It was a shock to me because, as far as I know, the relationship that we have is good. So I really do not know why she didn't want me to be there. It was really hard to wrap my mind around. And I've spent a lot of time, as I do, sitting on my balcony at night, contemplating. And that's how I first became aware of the grandmothers, not us, but the grandmothers, the past, present, future grandmothers who are holding points of light and love in a network around all of us, and we belong there. And so, so this is a practice that I've done every night as much as possible for the past 4 years. And I was really trying to understand what was going on, and really, I'm hurt, and I didn't want to feel angry, but it was really hard not to feel angry. And I have to say now that I am really grateful to my women friends who are mostly grandmothers, who are so angry for me that they can hold that anger for me. And I've never experienced anything like that before. And it was kind of a revelation that we can do that for each other. So I was sitting on the balcony and I was feeling irrelevant and unwanted, even though I know I'm needed. And I had this vision of the burial, which happened, as I said, on Friday. And I realized that there were no elders there. They were all young people, and the oldest ones were in their 40s, my children's generation. One of my best friends, Patty, who lives just 5 minutes away from where this is, and her family was like, we were one big family, and our kids did everything together. We were like a clan. She wanted to be there. She couldn't be there. There would have been 2 grandmothers there. We needed to be there. We didn't just need to be there for us. We needed to be there for our children and for Silas. And yet we were told that we couldn't be there. I felt, I don't know, it was really hard. And then all of a sudden, as I'm sitting out there, I felt that there are thousands, if not millions, of grandmothers around the world who are feeling irrelevant and unneeded or unwanted. And so the grief that I was feeling around that wasn't just my own. I was feeling the grief of these other grandmothers who were joining me in this unfortunate circumstance where our children are so involved in the world and so, I don't know, in a different headspace or heart space, that they're not even aware of the importance of our wisdom and what we can actually do. We are needed. We know grief. We know how to hold and we know how to love. And one of the things when I called Mayana and I said, do you think it would be appropriate for me to share this? Not even all of my friends know that Silas is dead yet. So if they're watching here, they may be finding out now for the first time. Because for a few days, I didn't even tell anybody except my close women friends, because I didn't know what I should do. You know, can I tell my friends? Can I tell people what's happening? I still haven't heard from Megan, and I still haven't heard from my kids since they went and did all this, you know, and did the whole thing. Anyway, I told Mayana that I was so grateful for this Global Grandmothers Council, because it not only did this effort, this event that we're working on, give me something to focus on, so that I didn't get completely lost in grief or feeling sorry for myself or whatever, which, you know, it just, all right, Susan, now you need to do this, you know, so I actually had something to do. But I realized that this is one of the reasons why we came together as a global network, so that we can not only help each other, but also find ways of helping our young people understand the importance of including us, even though to them we may appear irrelevant. Our lives, we've done our work, we're retired, we're whatever. I mean, my kids think I'm kind of strange a lot of the times because of my perspectives and my beliefs, and they kind of always have, because I've always been this way, just like I'm sure we all have always been this way, or we wouldn't be here right now. But I just wanted to share this because I feel like it needed to be said, and I am so grateful for you all being here and for the opportunity to be part of a community where we can hopefully help people realize, you know, it is time. We are necessary. I mean, I wrote this, we are necessary. We are weavers bringing life together again. We offer comfort and a soft place to land. And we offer wisdom that at times can be hard to say and to hear, because truth is often painful. Yet, without it, our world continues to unravel on every level. With it, combined with our wisdom and love, all healing is possible. A future is possible. And I am grateful for the grandmothers who are now rising, which is all of us. And especially the women I can see in front of me right here, and the ones who have been here and had to leave. Joan, with her concern for Gaia, which is my main thing until this happened. I see the trauma. Silas was 11 years old when his father died of an opioid overdose. My ex, Jason's father, was an addict after I left him. He was an alcoholic before, he was abusive. I left him, he then became an addict. He got clean and he died of pancreatic cancer a few years ago. His father before him, his grandfather, there's trauma that goes down through the generations, and it gets, and my beautiful grandson now is another victim of it. And I pray that his brother, Nick, should he decide to have children someday, I hope that that trauma can stop. My other two boys, they're doing the best they can with their children, and I believe, it's kind of early to know, but I believe that they're doing, that they may have helped with that. But anyway, so there's that I wanted to share. And I just wanted to, when I spoke to Mayana on the phone a couple of days ago about this, there's something that I want to read, and it just really hit me, even though it's about trees, that it hit me as exactly it's us too. My piece was called More Than Human Voices Part 2, and it was about 3 experiences that I had throughout my life, my career, quote unquote, because I'm an activist. How can you call it a career when you don't make any money doing it? But anyway, you know, it's different conversations and experiences that I had through my life that you know, that made change, that were very important in my path. And I got this one comment that when I read it, I was just in tears. And she was writing about the large grove of hemlocks where she lives that had been knocked down in a big windstorm, and how she was grieving them. And she had not really conversations with trees, but communications with trees through feelings and that kind of thing. But never before had a tree come to her and spoken to her in words. My experience has been words and other things, but never before had she had words. So she got these words. This one tree who had fallen wanted her, my commenter, whose name was Damaris, wanted her to know that she had witnessed her grief. And she said to her, "But we are still here. Please continue relating to us, even if our bodies are gone or lying on the ground or rotting, because we are still here. And everyone you have ever loved is still here. And you need to stay in active communication with us. If more people would continue relating with us, even though our bodies are gone, your world would become very different." And that was such a gift for her to put that comment there, because that is the absolute truth. Our ancestors are not only human ancestors. Our ancestors are the elders of the forests. They are the boulders. They are the mountains. They are the glaciers who are also dying. These are all our ancestors. These are all who we are. And so I wanted to share that. And it felt so relevant to the whole situation that I'm going through right now, and spoke to me really deeply. So that's that part. The items that I'm offering, I have 3 items listed. One is a set of anointing oils. These anointing oils were they came to me in a download. I make natural perfumes. I've been making herbal skincare products and natural perfumes for many years. And all my perfumes always have a story or something. I don't just sit down and say, "Oh, maybe I can make something that smells good today." There's something that I'm trying to communicate, or a place's essence or energy that I want to try to somehow capture in fragrance. I look at perfumes as like, you know, you create a painting, but perfumes are like paintings with scent. And so I have a vision, which is totally relevant to the grandmothers. And I actually I took a domain name and bought it just on the off chance that it actually comes into being, called the Waxing Moon Wisdom Center. And I decided I wanted to create an anointing oil for myself because I know that fragrance it's a it bypasses the logical brain, and it brings us to places and memories and things that maybe we haven't even thought about in decades. And so my feeling was that if I create very consciously an oil with a meaning to it, then every time I smell that oil, it's going to bring me into that place, and it's hopefully would make the manifestation of this wisdom center more possible. So I created this, and after I created it, I was sitting with my journal, writing about the ingredients and why I chose them. And all of a sudden, I just got this download. I was given the name of my anointing oil, that is Heart's Desire, and I was given the name of 3 more. And I was given the reasons for them, and I'm writing really fast, you know, to try to get it all down. I was not given the ingredients. I was just given the names and the reason. And the names are Heart's Desire, which was the one I created for myself. The next one is Voices of Earth. The next one is Connecting with the Ancestors. And the last one is We Are Stardust. And it kind of goes from us, our heart, to Earth, to our ancestors, and to where we all originally started, you know, because we all are stardust. We are all made out of the same basic elements, and we are all related in that way. And so those anointing oils are one of the offerings. And then there's 2 other offerings. One is spruce tip cream and a spruce face serum. The spruce tip cream I've been making for many years. The spruce serum is new. And I use the spruce tip cream all the time. And it really smells like a forest of Christmas trees. It's just wonderful, if I do say so myself. And I also want to say that in these ingredients, and also in the perfumes, the anointing oils, the base for those anointing oils is I made with using spruce tips that were harvested from my friend's place in northern New Hampshire, resins like white pine resin that I was gifted by a friend who lived down the road from me when I lived in Maine. And so I wanted to create, the base of these is made with an oil that I made myself out of ingredients that have special meaning to me. And the spruce tips and the spruce cream and also the spruce serum are made from those ingredients that I got from my friend Chris's, one of the women who's holding some anger for me on her land. And then the last item, I threw it up at the last minute. It's like a bundle of 3 items. One is a resin body oil, which is really, it's really wonderful. It's made with frankincense resins and extracts. And there's a lot of information in the description about the ingredients and what they're good for. And then what's the other part of it? There's the body oil and Lynx Balm. Yes, that's one of my oldest products. It's kind of a medicine cabinet in a jar, except you can't put it on wounds because it's got camphor crystals and menthol crystals. And if you put it on wounds, or you get it like on a mucous membrane or something, it will let you know that it won't hurt. It will. It won't be bad in the sense that it won't cause any more problems, but it will sting. Let's put it that way. And I've been making that for years, and I have people who use that for so many things. And I listed those uses in the listing there. And then the last thing in that is just a small 2 milliliter bottle of perfume oil. It's an oil-based perfume, not an alcohol-based perfume, called Wood Spirit, that lately for me I've been wearing a lot, and it's very comforting. It's interesting that my friend Chris, which is where I get the spruce tips, when I sent it to her after I made it, and this is a perfume that I made a long time ago, she named it Wood Spirit because it reminded her of the woods in back of our houses, because we grew up next door neighbors. So it reminded her of the woods that we used to play in when we were kids. And it has frankincense and sandalwood, and it's got a sweetness to it, but it's not like sugar sweet. It's more forest sweet, and it's got some spice and some florals in there. It's a really comforting scent. And perfume oils and natural perfumes as a whole, they're not something that you put on and then people know you're coming before you walk in the door, or the scent trail like follows you wherever you go. They wear closer to your body. So they're almost for you and anyone who comes close. And as opposed to, like, I don't know if you remember Giorgio. I mean, it was one of those perfumes that like people from miles around knew that there was somebody wearing Giorgio. I actually used to like that perfume. But anyway, so that's a brief description of my offerings that are on Give Butter. So.
May I speak for all of us here, Susan, that we are so grateful you took us on that emotional journey from the beginning of your grief and your story to now being able to see you laugh and smile with your offerings, which are amazing and exquisite. And I'm sure they'll be bid on in our auction, and there'll be plenty of other opportunities to purchase your incredible unctions and
Yeah.
scents.
And I will be offering many of these things and others on the marketplace on our platform.
That's the key. I'm feeling like after what you just offered, we should all take a deep breath. We have one more interview. We've gone 2 hours. This is our first stab at this. And we wanted to include everybody, and we have. That was our plan in this first call, and we don't want to exclude anyone. So Victoria, you're on deck. You're live. I will introduce you, and then we will have a few-minute closing ceremony. I still have my candle lit. We'll blow out the candle all together. We'll be grateful for our time together. Victoria, take it away. Victoria is an RN, a registered nurse. She's an integrative wellness practitioner. She's a channeler, an energy healer, an empowerment facilitator, and acts as a spiritual guide, helping people understand their divine energy and how to use it in their everyday lives. Victoria has been channeling Archangel Uriel since age 4 and came into this life with a gift of wisdom. Victoria, you're our last gifter, our last grandmother for this call, and then we'll go to our closing ceremony. Welcome, Victoria, and thank you for being in the background all this time, posting the donation links, etc.
Thank you, Sandy, for introducing me. So yeah, I had a very interesting childhood before 9. I lived in 17 houses, and at age 4, when Uriel came in, I started getting myself to church wherever I could, including walking, whatever it took. So I went to many, saw many different belief systems, was never locked into one. But after age 9, went to 2 churches, then went to Oral Roberts University. Very much my life. No one ever made me. I was the spiritual leader of the family, drawing people into church, going, you need to do this. At age 24, I had a vision and I never went back to church. And it wasn't, nothing bad happened in church. It was like that was no longer where I needed to be. And fast forward, after getting married, having 2 kids, and finishing my nursing degree, lived in that world, loved it, became a little disillusioned towards the end with what we were doing with drugs and what we had to offer, which very much was not in alignment with how I felt about, our bodies and how we needed to take care of them. And so I had started looking at alternative things, listened to Bruce Lipton's The Biology of Belief, and what I had learned some 40 years before at Oral Roberts University was very, it all just came together that we are nothing but energy. Everything in us is energy, and that is truly where our health begins, our relationships begin, what we have standing in front of us as our lives all begins there. When Gail, I can't remember your last name, Gail, but when she was speaking about and it was so funny because it was like, I've never really heard anybody say what we felt happened before we came in, which was this agreement we had with the other spirits that agreed to come into this life and teach us some of the things that are so challenging, so painful at times, to the point that we could hate them in this lifetime. They loved us that much before. And all of this became just incredibly eye-opening. And I'm a warrior, I'm a healer. It's like, I want people to, I'm also all about your power in who you are in this life and how to use that power. So that is a lot of what I teach. And I do classes, I do retreats, and I offer readings, which is what I'm offering on our platform. I use oracle cards and tarot cards as the jumping off place, and then I channel the wisdom that comes through me, and how to live in your power generally are the messages that come through. So within us, as our energy, I forgot to set my timer. Excuse me. As we are nothing but energy. Our words are energy, our thoughts are energy, our beliefs are energy, and our thoughts create chemicals in our body. And if you don't really get that, just imagine the last time you were in a car and you thought you were going to hit somebody or somebody was going to hit you, but it didn't happen. But something happened inside you. You created this chemical called acetyl, I can't even think of it, but you're racing then, and nothing happened, but you thought it was going to. And that's exactly what every single thought in our body does. It creates chemicals that bathe our cells, and it tells our genetics what protein to produce. So it's not, the genes are not the blueprint. The environment that the genes are sitting in is the blueprint. So every thought that you have, every belief is creating this chemical bath, which is why you'll find that some of the people with the most negative perspectives and viewpoints on life, and what they spew is negative, will often end up with cancer. I mean, it is the stress response, again, is a way that we produce chemicals. So managing our own energy has such a multifocal effect in the world and in our lives, because the truth is, we can't change the fact that we share energy with every single person we come in contact with. All of us here, clear across the world at times, have created cords between one another. We're sharing our energy. On a physical basis, when you're feeling great and you're out there in the world, your auric field, your energy field can be as big as 8 and 9 feet out, meaning anybody that comes in contact with that is going to be experiencing your energy. And when you're not okay, when you just don't want to talk to anybody, you're going to pull that field into about 18 inches around you. So somebody's going to have to get pretty close to you to get in that energy. And in my case, a lot of times they really don't want to be in that energy if they just knew how it felt at that point, because that's usually when I draw it in, is when I'm not feeling okay, expansive, or uplifted. And so one of the things I teach is what it is that affects our vibration, because that's what energy is. That's what we are. We're frequency vibrating through this universe. And the only thing, I mean, we all, and many of these grandmothers that are on our platform, have missions. I came in knowing I had a mission. I just didn't always know what it was. Traditional nursing for me was very much a mission. I loved that career till it was time for me to leave. And I still love the career. It just isn't where I vibrate anymore. And so we came in with this idea that there is something we need to do in this life. Many others are kind of out there going, I don't really know. I just, I know I love all this stuff about spirit, but I don't really know what I do. It's like, all you need to do is be conscious of your vibration and manage your own vibration in the world, because you're going to share it with everyone you come in contact with, anyone you talk to. You're going to be sharing your energy. And because the law of energy says it cannot be created nor destroyed, and energy goes out and it finds exactly the same type of energy that you're putting out, and it brings it back to you, because your subconscious and the universe are going, oh, oh, you're feeling really awful and you're just feeling hateful right now, which is such a prevalent energy in the world right now, very reactive, very divided, very much people in fear. And so it's going to go out there and bring it back to you, more of that. So the life you have in front of you, until you understand that you've created it through your vibration with Creator, God, the universe, the central sum, the great I am, whatever you call that higher power, in partnership, you've come in with an agreement before you came in as to what you wanted to learn. It is the how that we really can affect with our vibration, how we learn it, how difficult, how challenging, or how easy we can make it. And once we understand our energy, then we can jump into the power of I choose. And when it comes to me that I'm in challenging times, I now immediately go, okay, what did I bring this for? What did I want to learn from this? How can I move forward? And the truth is, I just want out of the more challenging times. I want to get back into having a little fun and just vibrating on a higher vibration through the world. When we own our power of creation, then we can shift what we do not want in our path anymore. But before that, we will learn from it and grow from it because we chose to bring it in. The other mantra I teach regularly is I'm open, I'm willing, I'm ready, guide me. And that is the open invitation for your angels, guides, companions, team, God, the universe to come in and help you along this way. We're not pawns, we're not puzzle pieces here. They're going to assist us, but they're not going to move us around the chessboard. So they'll give you heads up and awarenesses and inklings that make you see what is coming for you. It would have been there, but it would have gone right by you. And so it's a very powerful and yet gentle way to walk because you're allowing them to come in. That's what prayer is. I laughingly go, if you think that the creator of all this in the world, this powerful, needs you to get on your knees and worship them, you got another idea coming here, because that's a man's construct. That's a human construct of ego. And it's like the point of prayer, or that connection mantra that I use, I'm open, I'm willing, I'm ready, guide me, is to give them permission to come in and help you wherever they're able to. And so I'm trying to think. I loved also Gail's dragon energy of own personal power, because of course that's what I'm all about, is your own personal power in this world to shift. So a couple of different tools for raising your vibration that seem so silly, but are so incredibly powerful. The first is to get to that heart swelling feeling of love. So you can think of grandchildren, you can think of pets, spouses, Mother Earth, the trees, wherever you get that heart swelling feeling. And you bring that into your heart space for just a few seconds. And then you shed, and I always tell people 30 seconds to a minute, pure love and joy on anything. It does not have to be a living being. The point is, you're drawing the unconditional love from the universe, sending it out. It is pulling lower vibratory energy from you, because love and fear don't live in the same place. Fear is the lowest vibration we can be in. Love is the highest vibration. And so you're going to pull those lower vibration energies, and in 30 seconds, you will feel lighter, because the lower vibratory energies make you feel heavy and down and like you're walking through jello throughout the world. So 30 seconds to a minute, and I started using it because the fun thing that I teach is it really is all about you. Nobody else can do this for you. You can manage your energy, but then the people you come in contact with are in contact with that higher vibration. So you are doing a thing in the world by just managing your energy. It can be that simple. Pure love and joy. I shed pure love and joy on the wall. I shed pure love and joy on the trees. I shed pure love and joy on my husband. Again, it's not what you're shedding pure love and joy on, unless you have a situation you would like to shift before you go in it. Shedding pure love and joy on whoever's involved in that situation 4 or 5 times before you go into that situation will help the energy of the situation. But again, it is all about you. I am offering 4 Oracle Wisdom Guided readings in the auction platform. It is my pleasure and my privilege to bring in the guidance that people can use in order to move forward in their life. And just remember about that energy that we're sharing. If you flick a guitar string and a D string in one corner of a 50-foot room, pretty soon the other guitar string, the D string in that 50-foot room, will start to resonate. That's the energy, that's the frequency, that's what we do, that's what we get to do, and that's what we can do to create a better earth. All about you and managing your own energy. Thanks so much for letting me be here today. I'm so grateful for this group and the power that we have, the mission and what we are doing in this world.
Thank you, Victoria. Beautiful sharing. What wisdom we have. Wow. I feel the vibrations and resonating as we speak. We have come to the end of our time, women. We are going now to a closing ceremony. I want to ask Mayana if it's true that we can get to the links to the auction and to the links for donating to Global Grandmothers on our Facebook page, if those will be on going forward so that.
Yes.
Thank you.
They are there. Yes, they're posted in the group, and they should be in the messages, the comments below the live stream. Beautiful. And when this is complete, we will upload it to YouTube and then share it as a YouTube video in the group when we're done also.
What an artifact it will be then. All right, I invite everyone, please. I have a candle here. It's grown down. As you can see, it's just a nub. Yeah, Mayana.
I just want to say that we're coming back on at 7:00 p.m. Eastern time or 9 a.m. in Australia. And I just want to share the screen for who's going to be on that call.
Perfect.
So we can make sure that we all join in there. And that it's not ready. One moment and I will get it there.
Beautiful.
Right here. All right. There we go. Oh, nope, that's today's. So, all right, one more time. I will do it. Here we
No
go.
worries. Keep breathing, everyone.
There we go.
Lovely.
So at 7:00 or 9:00 a.m., we'll have Grandmother Sharon Raji Maynard, who's been with us on the call, but she'll be speaking. One Divine, who is our web platform guru. She's the one doing all the work to create the platform for us. Kelly Springer, who will be sharing her harp harmony. Kalina Baines, who's been one of our active volunteers and a moderator. And Karen Bright, Grandmother Karen from Australia, will be joining us and sharing her precious wisdom. So 7:00 Eastern, 9 a.m. in Australia.
Truly global.
Truly.
Let's take 3 deep breaths, please. Ground yourselves. May our weaving today, our lighting of each other's candles, our sparks flying to each other through the ether, May the connections we've made prove sound and strong and lasting. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. Aho. We blow out the candle together. I offer that to you. Have a great break, everybody. See you at 7.
Thank you for all who've put this together. Beautiful.
Thank you, Cher.